and an aged orange peel texture. The finished sculpture sits in water for 2 to 3 hours. This activates the release agent, detaching the plasticine from the plaster underneath. The artist carefully cuts the sculpture into sections. The number of pieces varies with the size and complexity of the mask. Now he can start producing the mold he'll use to cast the elderly woman's face mask. First, he takes a thin plaster impression of each piece. Then he coats the impression in plaster to make the positive half of the mold. Once it hardens, he applies the plasticine piece to space the depth of the mold cavity. Then he coats that in plaster to create the negative half of the mold. When it hardens, he applies release agent to both mold cavities, pours in hot gelatin, then closes the mold. In a half hour, the gelatin hardens into a flexible replica of that particular piece of the plasticine sculpture. He implants synthetic hairs to create eyebrows. Now, using surgical glue, he begins to apply the pieces called prosthetics. He starts with the largest face piece first. It includes the nose, cheeks, neck, and upper lip. He cuts a hole in the chin area so that he can apply the chin piece. Now the lower lip. He cuts off the excess, then glues the edges of the chin piece to the large face piece. Now for the forehead. Again, he applies glue along the edges to connect it to the rest. To age the eyes, he uses contact lenses. They create a ring around the iris, a typical feature of elderly eyes. Using tweezers, he applies eye bags, again gluing the edges to the rest of the mask. And finally, some wrinkly eyelids. With the mask fully assembled, it's makeup time. Using a toothbrush, the artist sprays it unevenly over the mask, then smudges it with his fingers. This technique creates a realistic look because the human face, aged skin especially, has color variations. Using a very thin brush, he accentuates some wrinkles by creating depth with a darker color. Now some freckles and age spots. And a gray wig. And finally, just a bit of lip color because lips dull with age. All this takes an experienced makeup artist about a month of work. And such expertise doesn't come cheap. A major transformation like this for stage or screen can cost up to $10,000.